see our dynamic now. All right, y'all ready? All right, let's do this. So today, obviously based off of my title here, we're gonna be talking about how to ditch trendy diets, okay? A guide to basically getting you through that, living a more vibrant, healthy life through eating styles. And I'll define what those are. We'll go through some of the things that y'all are gonna learn today, okay? So first and foremost, before I even get into the agenda, what do y'all think a trendy diet is? Like, what does that mean to you when you hear like trendy diet? Hashtag. Okay. Something on TikTok, maybe. Anything else? What's like trendy to y'all? Or what is a diet that you've heard of that maybe is like a new trend? Keto. What do you say? Salmon. Okay. What do you say? Keto. Anybody else?
Chicken, broccoli, or rice.
The bird diet with no seasoning. You gotta, yeah, that's the most important part right there. No seasoning. Okay, so what's the craziest trendy diet that you've heard of? And I'll start. So one that I just heard of was the lemon coffee diet trend that's like going through TikTok. I don't know if y'all heard of that. We're a little bit older, I think, in here, but basically you put like lemon juice in coffee and it's supposed to help you burn fat. It don't work. Don't try it. Okay. So have y'all heard of any other crazy ones that just kind of
Hard-boiled egg one.
what?
Military, like, diet.
No.
It's
What
like
is this?
You eat a couple hard-boiled eggs and saltines and this, that, and the other thing. It comes to maybe like 400 calories for the day.
Apple cider. Okay. That's another one. That's another one. Y'all want me to address that? I'll address that later because some of y'all might be doing some apple cider vinegar. Oh, all water diet. Okay, so there's gonna be a question section at the end. We're gonna talk about some of these, okay? All right, so whenever we're going through today, we're gonna talk about first and foremost, how do you spot a trendy diet? What does that look like? What are some things that you should look for? And then also, how do you recognize that diet change that you're making or you're testing out is not for you, okay? So there's some things that might pop up that'll let you know like, hey, this is not for my body. And then lastly, how do you kickstart your journey utilizing eating styles and how to find out what your eating style is, all right? So a little bit about me. So Colin has done a great job just introducing me thus far, but I'm the lead dietitian with Power Portions. This is my second career. So I'm a former professional basketball player. That's my heart. That's what I know. And got into dietetics after that. So co-owner of Power Portions with Steph over here. And my specialties are sport performance and wellness and weight management. So those are some things I focus on. And fun fact for me, I only eat the inside stuffing of Oreos. Anybody gonna check me right now or what? Okay, just making sure. Yeah, growing up, she used to be so mad at me about that. I literally would just eat the inside stuffing. All right, so let's get into it. Spotting a trend. So what are some things that you think would make a diet a trend? And I know that's kind of a loaded question, but what are some things that you think? Influencer, okay. Huh? Pictures, okay. Anything else? Rapid growth or loss, okay. Unsustainable, okay. Those are great. So here's some things that you should be looking for, okay. First and foremost, major promises. So anybody heard you can lose 20 pounds in 1 week, 1 month? You know, anybody heard this can just completely transform your whole life and you can do this in 2 weeks? Major promises, okay? Inflated promises. A lot of times those promises aren't real. And if they are, they might come with a hefty price tag, such as your health, okay, your wellness. And a lot of us in here, you know, yeah, we want to be healthier, but you want to do it the right way. So that's one thing. If you're seeing a diet trend and it's promising all these huge goals or things that it's going to make you change or whatever, it's probably not one that's going to be sustainable or science-based for that matter, okay? Number 2, missing nutrients. And this is a huge one because y'all mentioned keto, right? So in some aspects, keto can work. So there is some research behind it in certain populations, but it's not for everybody, right? And if you have diets that pop up that say, oh, just eliminate all carbs for a long time, a long period of time, that's not sustainable. Sustainable was said earlier, right? You can't sustain that. So, and you have to remember, all the nutrients that are in our diet, the food groups that we have, they're there for a reason. Your body utilizes them for so many different things, and it's important to keep them in there regardless of what the proportion is for your particular diet. So that's number 2, missing nutrients. If something's missing, food groups, all that for a prolonged period of time, that's a problem, okay? And one of the other things is risky business. So if it comes in pill form, powder form, all those things, and it's, hey, take this fat burner pill and you can get from point A to point B in 1 month, red flag. Y'all see the red flag trend that's been going on? Red flag, okay? So I don't even really have to dive into that because I think a lot of people understand that now with just like the supplement industry. So that's something to be aware of. And you guys mentioned some other things. So influencers and people that are just like, I don't know, health conscious on the internet, you know, they've got 10,000, 100,000 followers and they're promoting their products, right? They're promoting their supplements, they're promoting this, they're promoting that. And in reality, it might not do anything for you at all. And it could be dangerous. So don't take anything that looks unfamiliar and don't do anything that's not third-party tested, especially for my athletes. All right, so how to know it's not for you. So have you guys ever tried a diet trend and something popped up and you're like, nah, this doesn't feel right? So what are some things that might manifest in your body that that tell you like, this is not for me? Feeling weak, acid reflux, okay. Anything else? Breaking out, exactly. Huh? Bloating, yes, exactly. So y'all, I mean, that's so good. So obviously we know that our bodies are going to tell you what's going on. You just have to listen to it. Your body wants to communicate with you and you just have to pay attention to it. A lot of times we kind of ignore what our body is telling us just because we want the benefits of whatever diet is going on, right? So I have a full list of things that can kind of manifest to let you know that it's not your match, but this is not exhaustive. There are so many other things that your body can do and tell you to let you know like, hey, this is not where it's at. So first and foremost, disappointment, okay? So you're told that this diet can help you get to this point and it doesn't happen. Then what? Now we're disappointed, right? We've got these goals that we want to meet and it's not happening and that's disappointing, right? So disappointment, low energy levels. So for people that are maybe cutting out a ton of carbs or they're really putting in a lot of work and they're just not eating enough, then you'll find your energy levels will be low. Also, impaired performance. So he mentioned being weak. Nobody wants to be weak out here on the floor, right? You want to be strong. You want to be able to push weight. You want to be able to run fast, all these different things. And all that goes out of the window when you're not doing what you need to do nutrition-wise, okay? Lack of muscle growth, fat loss, all these things. You want to tone up. You want to build muscle. You want to get all the benefits from the training that you're doing. Well, if your diet trend is removing all the nutrients you need for muscle growth, then what's the point? You're defeating the purpose here, okay? Also, yo-yo cycle. So oftentimes what I'll see, especially in the wellness realm, is people will maybe get on a diet or a trend or something. It doesn't work. They take a little time off and then they're on to the next diet, the next trend. And it just is a yo-yo effect. And that's not good for your body. Stress. If the diet is stressing you out, there's something wrong with it, okay? So that's just, I don't even need to add anything else. If it's stressing you out, drop it, okay? Food should not be stressful. There's so many different ways you can approach your diet to where it can help you drop the stress. It should help with any stress management as well, okay? Physical manifestations. So this is a lot of things. So gut health. So you mentioned acid reflux, right? Cramping. So there's so many different pills that people can take or powders or teas, detox teas, and all these other things. Well, if it's causing stomach cramping and it's causing you to have vomiting or it's causing you to have reflux, there's something going on. Something's not right with that, okay? Bloating is another thing that you mentioned. Rashes, breaking out, headaches, all these different things are your body telling you, hey, something's up. You know, something's not right. Something's not connecting, you know, so listen to your body. It'll pop up in a lot of ways. It'll also pop up in blood work, okay? So on the more sciencey side, if you're eliminating a lot of nutrients and you're not putting it back into your diet in some way, shape, or form, you might go and get blood work and it says, oh, your iron's low, your B12, you're this, you're that. It's like, oh, I didn't realize I was missing all of those things. So that's something that can manifest when you're finding out that a diet is not for you. Okay. Another thing is lack of focus. If you can't sit here and really focus on what you're doing, or focus on the training that you're doing, or work and focus on the work that you're doing, or focus when you're with your kids, that's a problem. That's not okay. Especially if you just implemented a new diet that is removing all the things that you love. Okay. So that's a problem. That's not okay. It's definitely something that's manifesting in your body that's letting you know this is not for me. So is there anything on here that I mentioned that you guys may have experienced before? All of yeah. I think we all have. Like we all have. And I hate to admit it, but I mean, for me, even as a dietitian now, I didn't know nutrition my whole life. So there are times when I've tried things and I realized like, oh shoot, like this is probably not good. So I know I'm not the only one. You guys aren't the only one either. All right. So those are just some of the signs that can let you know that something's not for you. Okay. So be on the lookout for those. All right. So how can I figure out what works for me? Okay. How can you figure out, all right, you're like, all right, Bree, you told us like how to spot a trend. You told us like how it manifests. Like now what do we do? Like what do we do from here? Okay. So there is somewhere that you can start. There's a few things that you can start with. First and foremost, you need to really take a deep dive. So you have to go beyond the surface level. Going online and being like, hey, meal plan, or going online and being like, what to eat for muscle growth is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. Okay. Because nutrition, diet, your health is not a one size fits all. Okay. It's custom to you, and it always will be. There's never going to be one type of diet or one miracle food or anything that will work for everybody. It's so customary. Okay. So some of the things you need to do to just start. One is having conversations with healthcare professionals or like, you've got trainers here, you've got dietitian, like people that you can communicate with to really get the conversation going. Ask questions, talk to them, get their thoughts on things. Getting full assessments is a great way to start and figure out what's going on with you. Okay. Because your body is going to be different than his body. Your body is different than mine. Her body is different than his. Okay. So everybody's different. Labs and diagnostic testing. So that's a really good way to find out what's going on under the hood. And this is something I do with a lot of my clients because it's easy for us to look at your diet. It's easy for me to look at you on the outside, but your labs might tell us something else. So if you really want to know what's going on with your body, look at your lab work. Think doing different types of tests, doing DEXA scans, doing body composition stuff can really give you an idea of where you're at and where you need to be going. Okay. Diet assessments. So oftentimes I find a lot of things with my clients going wrong. When I look at their food journals and I do an analysis, or we're talking, I'm figuring out what's going on with them. Oftentimes I can spot little things. I say, oh, well, before even analyzing this diet, I know you're not eating enough. Before even looking at this, I know you're missing protein at this point in the day, and that's why you're not putting on the muscle that you want. So it's very easy to spot that type of stuff, but that's what we're trained to do. One of the other things is habit and personality testing and assessments. And that's what we'll kind of talk about today with the eating styles and what are some of the different eating styles that you should be looking for. And then lastly, your preferences, your goals, your desires, all those things, and your values, all of that should play a role in what direction you want to go with your health and your nutrition. Okay. So if you really enjoy having carbs, keto is not for you. Don't do it. It's just not worth it. Okay. So just know and stand by your values and understand like what's important to you, because that really does play a role in your eating, wanting the food that you actually are eating, having desire to have it. Okay. So, but we're going to focus on the personality assessment and eating styles. Okay. So when we're talking about eating styles, this basically will help us kind of understand some of the habits that we might be dealing with that could be holding us back from doing what it is that we actually want to do, some of the goals that we actually want to reach. So have you guys ever heard of eating styles before? What do y'all think that it is? Mm-hmm. Any guesses? Mm-hmm. Yep. Very good. Very good. Okay. Good start. Very good start. So you're exactly right. So eating styles are basically, there's a few that you'll see out there. There's a lot of different definitions to eating styles, but the ones that we're going to talk about are by Dr. Kushner. And he created an eating style profiling quiz that kind of helps you identify some of the problem areas of what you're doing when you eat. Okay, so there's 7 different eating styles. We're not going to go into depth into all these eating styles. We'll be here all day, but I did want to give you guys a surface idea. And I think while we're going through, you might identify 1 or 2 that maybe is something that you do. Okay, so let's go through them really quick. So number 1, you mentioned it, snacker. So steady snacker. I know somebody in here who is a steady snacker. I won't say any names, but I am actually a steady snacker too. So when I took the quiz the first time, that was my main profile, was that I was a steady snacker. And essentially that's somebody that can snack all day. You might, whether you're hungry or not, you might just find yourself just snacking. And that's something that can be very like mindless. So if you're busy and you're missing out on meals and you're like, oh, I gotta, get a quick something, or this is here, let me grab this. Okay, that can happen. It's not always a problem, but it could also cause problems. And that's what you'll see with a lot of these eating styles, that they're not always a problem in and of themselves, but they can cause problems when you're trying to reach goals. Okay. Swing eater. So this is somebody that can go from hot to cold. So you might have a diet that you're on and you're really, really strict on it. And then you fall off the wagon because you went and ate with a friend, somewhere, and then you're completely off it. And then you're going all in, and you're doing something completely opposite. And then you try to get back on the diet. And it's just kind of that yo-yo thing. Okay. Hearty portioner. You mentioned somebody that can just like inhale food. Is that you? Okay. So that's someone who can find themselves just eating huge meals. And a lot of times this happens because you're maybe not eating enough over the course of the day, and then you find yourself, all right, it's 8 p.m. and I didn't, yeah, exactly. Like, where's my plate? And then it's like, I need another plate. I need more, that's not enough. Well, no, it's not enough because you didn't eat all day. Okay. So that's something that can happen. Fruitless feaster. What do y'all think that is? Fruitless feaster. No fruits, no vegetables, and not intentionally. It's just a matter of, okay, this is what I prefer. And if I'm looking at my diet, which I'm probably not analyzed on a daily basis, I'm just going to stuff that I'm used to. A lot of carbs, a lot of processed foods, a lot of things that are grab and go convenient, and that's easy for you to get, but you might be missing some core components in fruits and vegetables. It's just a simple change, okay? The last 3 that we have are convenient diner. So that's the person that's like, if it's convenient, it's for me. I don't care what part of the day it is. If it's quick, it's coming with me. Okay. So these are people that often are very busy and just don't really have time to prepare. And they might kind of just grab what's available to them when it's available. Okay. And that's not always a problem unless all the foods that are available to them are highly processed foods, high fat foods, high carb foods that just aren't balanced in general. Okay. Nighttime nibbler. This is the person that waits all day or skips meals all day. And then they find themselves at 10 p.m. eating. Okay. They might even wake up in the middle of the night and eat some more. It just depends on how much they got in their system. All right. And lastly, we have the meal skipper. So this is the person that might miss meals throughout the day, whether they're thinking about it or not. They just happen to do that. Busy people. So a lot of times you'll see some common stuff because people are busy. We have things to do, right? So are there any of these eating styles that may sound familiar to you? Something that you might be doing? Yeah. Yeah. All the above. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. What I find is that when a lot of clients will take this quiz, they'll find there maybe be multiple styles. And it's like, well, yeah, during this time of the year, I'm actually this. During that time of the year, I'm actually this. Okay. So you never know, but these are all things to kind of let you know, like, hey, this could be a problem. If this is you, this could be a problem, but you can use it to your advantage. Okay. So there's so many things that you can do with all of these. And what I recommend is, regardless of what your eating style is, you don't have to completely change your life to not have that eating style. It's just simple changes. If you're a fruitless feaster, you can try with just like starting to implement 1 piece of fruit every single day. It doesn't have to be a huge overhaul, right? If you're a hearty portioner, you can start by adding an extra meal in your day. If you find that you're always eating 2 huge meals, okay, add 1 more meal in and see if you can balance it out. You know, if you're a steady snacker, try to get some meals in as opposed to some snacks. Sit down, be a little more mindful about what you're doing and how you're eating, okay? So there's a lot of different things that you can do that are simple changes, and you can start now. So eating styles are just one piece of the puzzle. It's not the end all be all, okay? So don't think like, oh, I figured out my eating style. Now I know like this is the key to everything. That's not how it works, okay? So, but it is an easy way to slap a band-aid on a deeper issue, okay? So sometimes people find like, oh, I found my eating style or whatever, you know, we can do this. Or I have this trendy diet and that can help me reach my goals. No, find out what's going on underneath below the surface, okay? And you really want to establish those underlying issues, because if you don't figure out that, then you're going to continue to have issues over and over and over again, okay? You have to find the root cause of the problem. Okay, so in summary, because I wanted to try to keep this short because I know it's a lot, but in summary, find your lane. Don't find somebody else's lane. If it's just a popular diet, you know, and you want to try it out, okay, ask somebody about it. Ask a practitioner about it. Find out what their thoughts are on it before even trying it, okay? But don't always take everything for face value. You know, just because some influencer said that, oh, you can do this and you can get, you know, a body like me, it's probably not going to work that way, okay? So just know that you have to find your own lane, and that's what it's all about when it comes to nutrition. Figuring out what's going to work best for you and going with that, okay? So you have to cut through the trends and figure out what you really want. What's most important to you? What do you desire to get out of your health and nutrition? For everybody, that's something different. For me, what I want out of my health and nutrition is balance. I got 2 kids. I'm busy, you know, like I got a lot of things that I'm doing. I want to make sure I'm getting the right nutrients in to give me the energy I need to have balance throughout my day. But for you, Bree, that might be different. You know, for you, Colin, that might be different too. So everybody, you have to decide what it is that's important to you and how you want to get there, okay? Number 2, get the help you need. Stop trying to figure it out on your own. You know, that's what I tell people all the time. Like, it doesn't matter when your car is broke down, where you go? To the car shop. You know, unless you're really good with cars, you take it to the shop, right? If you're really, really sick, you might go to a doctor. You know, if you break an ankle or something, you got to get surgery, you're going to go get surgery. You're going to go to someone who has, you know, the credentials to help you out, right? So that's for anything. Don't get your information from an influencer online or even Google, you know, because there's a lot of things that will pop up and that might not be for you. So get the help that you need from the person that can really help you, okay? And pay attention to your body. Do not silence your body just so that you can stay on a trend, just so that you can try to get some results, right? No, listen to your body. If you're doing something, and it might not even be a trend, maybe you're just saying, okay, I want to restrict calories. I want to try to put muscle on. I want to lose fat or whatever it is. And you find your body is telling you, nah, like this is not working. We need to fix something. Listen to your body. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it, because it will say, okay, I'm not going to keep talking back, you know? So give your body the opportunity to talk to you, okay? Give it a chance to have a voice, all right? And there is no, like I said, I'll reiterate this, there is no one size fits all. So what works for me, not going to work for you. It might not work for you, you know? So figure out what works for you and know that it's not a one size fits all, okay? What questions do y'all have? Because I know y'all have some.
So, I like being who I am because all the people around me are so much more involved in me in terms of progression. But I think with the whole vegan and plant-based, I'm probably a legitimate like 87.5% plant-based.
Okay.
My whole thing is though that it needs to be, if that 87% is 90% processed fake meats and things like that, I might as well just be eating the real thing. So
yeah.
What's a good way to, because my suggestion was always just like little snack bags. But what's a good way that you think people can, who are on a plant-based or even vegetarian, some kind of plant-focused diet, get more whole foods and natural, natural sources of these vitamins and minerals. They're actually trying to seek
Mhm.
this diet that they're completely
Missing out on. Yeah, exactly. That's a great question. So my number one recommendation is going to be to plan it out. Lack of preparation will always lead to you not getting the nutrients you need, right? Because like, let's say, for example, you wake up, you got to be at the gym by 7 and you didn't prep the night before, you don't have oatmeal, you don't have nothing ready, and you're like, let me just grab this, let me just grab this, and then you've got appointments, you've got work, you've got to go here, you've got to go there, and you don't have food prep, you don't have any idea where you're going to go eat, nothing, no preparation. And there's not a ton of convenient foods that you can just grab, that are going to be tailored to a plant-based diet. There's starting to be more now, but a lot of times there are going to be ingredients in those convenient foods that don't fit your lifestyle. But you end up grabbing it anyway. Then it's like, okay, well, let me just get some fries, or let me just get this or that. And it's like, no. So prepare. If you've got to just semi-prep things, if you want to have some oatmeal I mentioned in the morning, or if you want to have beans and lentils and all these different things, or even smoothie packs, you want to put some spirulina in it, get your protein. So there's all kinds of ways you can prepare that ahead of time. You don't have to make food from scratch every single day, but you can prepare some things ahead of time so that you're ready to go, and that way you're really still staying in alignment with what you really want to do.
especially when you're working out.
Yep, exactly. Even when you're working out.
You are a fan of meal prepping?
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% a fan of it. It's not for everybody, but I think there's different levels of meal prep that you can do. So for me, I don't full on prepare whole meals ahead of time. But what I do is I'll prep my stuff. So I'll make sure I'm not having to chop up all my ingredients, and get my menu set. I set my menu, I do my grocery shopping. I'll prep some stuff so that it's ready to go. And then each day I'll make my meals. But I have the time to do that. But if you don't have that kind of time, then set aside time to do the meal prep. But one thing about meal prep, don't do it all in one day. And when I say do it all, don't menu plan, grocery shop, prep, and cook all in one day. You'll be burnt. You will be burnt. Some people can do it, like some people really can, but most people can't. Exactly. If you're not the one doing it, you just buy it, or somebody coming in doing it for you, it's fine. But most people, if you're prepping for yourself, that's the biggest mistake I see they make with meal prep. They try to do it all in one day. And then what are you doing? You're prepping from like 7 a.m. to like 12 a.m., but by the time it's all said and done. So break it up. You can easily set your menu and grocery shop earlier in the week and then prep on Sunday or prep on whatever day is most convenient for you, but break it up and that'll make it a little bit easier.
I got a question. So I don't consider myself on a diet,
Mhm.
but what works for me is a nice portion of veggies,
Mhm.
protein, and a sweet potato.
Okay.
Like that works.
Yeah.
If there's something I can modify, like as far as getting more information to modify that.
I mean, it really
Like,
depends.
if there's such thing as eating too much sweet potato,
No,
you know what I mean?
that's a great question.
Eat a whole sweet potato
So
at one time.
you're probably okay, especially so you said you were a hearty portioner, right? So, and how many times a week?
3 times a day.
Okay, you're eating 3 times a day. And are you exercising during the day? Okay, so you're training. Okay, you're doing a lot of things. You're moving around. You're active,
My
right?
breakfast is probably my lightest
Okay.
meal, and then my lunch is meal prep, so I'm not really eating a lot. I mean, when I was prepping,
Mhm.
it's the same meal.
So I can tell you, if you're eating 3 meals a day, breakfast is really light, and your meal prep meal, maybe medium-ish size, you're probably not eating enough. Even though it might feel like you're eating a lot, right? Like, because it feels like, oh, I'm sitting down at this meal and like I'm really going in on this plate. Well, but you also burned 1,000 calories in addition to what you're burning just in your body because you're training, you're moving, you're doing all these things, right? You need that. You need that. And so that's why I say it's always really good to kind of find out exactly what your body is burning and kind of like that underlying stuff. So those are some of the assessments that we do because we like to figure out, okay, how much energy are you burning when you're training, right? What are you burning just being you? If you didn't get out the bed today, you would still burn calories, right? Just because your body is functioning, it's going to need to use energy, okay? Every time you eat, you're burning calories. A lot of people don't think about that, okay? So there's a lot of different ways that you're burning calories. You have to replenish that, okay? But what happens is your body might get used to that And then it kind of just like is like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm balancing right here. Won't go up, won't go down, won't do this, won't do that. It's just gonna balance and maintain. Okay, so that's a great question. There's no such thing as too much sweet potato. A lot of people think sweet potato and regular potatoes are, one superior. They're actually very similar nutrient profiles. So they can give you what you need. Yeah, go ahead, find us.
I think I seen some on Instagram about hydration,
Mhm.
about water, about way to hydrate, right?
It is not the only way to hydrate. Okay, so hydration. What do y'all know about hydration? Drink water. Okay. What do y'all? Anybody else? Anything about hydration? There's a lot more that goes into it. Yes. You just drink water. Okay. This is like the most common issue. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad. Oh, that is okay. That is like a really, really good question. That is one of the number outside of not eating enough. This is the second most common problem that I find with my athletes. They do not hydrate properly because it's common to think like, oh, I just need water. Okay. Let me tell you what's in your sweat: sodium, potassium, magnesium, zinc. All those different things are in your sweat. You sweat every time you train. Even if you're in a hot place like Arizona, you're going to sweat. It's going to evaporate quick, but you're still going to sweat. You're going to lose all those things, right? If you don't replenish that, okay, you're peeing, you're sweating, you're not replenishing. Your only thing you're replenishing is the water that's in there. Yeah, you've got some water in your sweat, but you've got so many other things. You don't put it back in, and what do you find? Oh, I'm cramping. Oh, I can't get through this. Oh, now I'm really, really tired of my workout. There's a significant decrease in performance when you're underhydrated. Huge decrease, okay? So when you're hydrating, what do we hydrate with? Well, it depends. So a lot of times you want to, for sure, make sure you have electrolytes in. Sodium is the number one thing that you're going to be losing in your sweat, okay? So a lot of people think like, oh, well, maybe it's the potassium, maybe it's all you. Nope, sodium is the number one thing that you're going to be losing in your sweat. So if you're not getting sodium back into your body after a sweaty training session or you're outdoor running or whatever, you're going to find yourself dehydrated, okay? Does anybody know any signs of dehydration? Cramp. That's one of the main ones. Dizziness. Yep. Dry mouth. Anybody experience that? Headaches. Okay. All that. If you look at your pee and it's really, really dark, you dehydrated. Okay. You need to get some in. All right. It's not enough. Water's not enough. Okay. Especially when you're training a lot. And even if you're not training a lot, let's say you're just, going about your day-to-day thing and it's warm outside. You're still moving. Maybe you drank a lot of coffee or you drank other things and you're not getting any sort of electrolytes in. You can still get dehydrated. You can still see those signs manifest. Okay, so hydration comes in a lot of different forms, but you have to make sure you're getting electrolytes in. I do. So that also depends on what else you're doing. Okay, so if you are in the middle of a workout, let's say it's more like endurance based, going to last you longer than 60 to 75 minutes, you should probably get a carb plus electrolyte solution. These are going to be your Gatorades, your Body Armors, I don't know, your ladder hydration, none tablets that you can add some carb to. There's all kinds of solutions out there. I'm trying to think some other ones. I mean, there's so many different brands out there that you can use if that's the type of exercise you're doing. Pickle juice. Oh my God, we were just talking about, so I'm going to give you a story. It's good. It's good. And what's crazy, so our dad taught us about pickle juice a long time ago. We thought he was crazy. He's an old school athlete. He did track and field, like Olympic athlete. And so he used to make us drink pickle juice before we would go like do basketball training. We would be like, oh my gosh, it's so nasty and you're crazy. You don't know what you're doing. And later, as I was going through school and I'm learning more about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he was actually right. Because pickle juice is high in sodium. It's got the fluids. It's got everything that you need. So if you like it, that's the problem. Some people don't like the taste. But if you like it, it actually is a really good hydrator. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, there is science behind it based off the components of it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Very good point. That's surprised that you brought that up. We just talked about that on our live the other day. Any other questions? Anything else you got? Huh? Oh, thank you. Well, obviously, if y'all have any other questions that come up, you can definitely come ask me. And then also get in touch with us. Reach out to us. We're social. We're actually based out of Houston, but we do everything virtually. So y'all can connect with us, reach out. Obviously, Colin's got all of our contact information. Just hit him up. He knows how to reach us all the time.
I need that to my bag, man. Knowing the food, especially when we grow up, how we grow up.
Yep. Exactly.
Fried chicken.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Growing up, that's like I had a really diabetic, like, bro, you just smash plates your whole life. That's all you know is just.
That's all you know.
Smash,
that's
right?
all you know. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm trying to feed baby boy.
Hey, that's coming. I know. Yeah.
I had to reteach myself, bro.
Yeah. I tell everybody all the time because, sometimes they look at us and they're like, oh, she's a dietitian. Like, she don't know, like she never really ate. So I'm from Houston originally. My grandma lived with us. And so it wasn't uncommon for us to have fried chicken, fried catfish, smothered pork chop. Like that was very normal, right? So, and I relate to a lot of my athletes on that level because for them, they're like, okay, these are the things that I love, but I'm trying to get here, so I always say there's room for those foods, but it's always about balancing it out. Okay. Maybe we don't have that all the time. Maybe that's a special occasion. Maybe we cut back on portion size. Maybe we add in nutrients. Can we add in more fruits? Can we add in more vegetables? Can we add in more healthy fats? Like all of those different things that we're not really thinking about, when we're growing up, and we might not have been exposed to that. I didn't taste an avocado until I went out to college in California and I tried an avocado for the first time. But I didn't know that before, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that you might not have been exposed to before, and that's okay. You can start now. Yes. So, but again, it always depends on you and your personal needs. Okay. So when we break down the numbers, when we look at what you're doing, we look at your activities, we look at what you want to do, what are your goals, what are you trying to do with your body, then we can really determine the answer to that question. Yes, there is such thing as too much depending on what you're doing, who you are. So even the healthy foods, there could be potential to have too much of it, but it's all about balance. It's all about balance. Great question. Y'all got anything else? Well, if you don't, y'all got my information. Text us, email us, all that good stuff, and we'll be able to answer them. Do you have any questions on the live? Thank you. Thanks for coming. We can break. Look, I'm like, we can break. Okay, perfect. No, that's fine. Awesome.